Good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, I'm waiting for the notification. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a special edition of Off the Record, the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have a great guest, one who I'm very humble and honored that he would take time out of his busy schedule to have a conversation with us. Brother Jabbar Muhammad, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule, sir. On behalf of myself and my viewing audience and my family, we would like to extend the greetings of assalamu alaikum to you, sir.
Oh, brother, wa alaikum salam. Please return the greeting to your beloved family, brother. And
Yes,
I
sir.
must say that I'm honored and humbled that you would even ask me. Like I said, this is my first interview. No one's ever asked me to do an interview before, so
Oh, wow. Praise be
I'm
to
real
Allah.
humbled. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, my first question is, Brother Jabbar, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I first heard the teaching in December of 1980.
Mm.
Yeah, I was in college. I was in at the University of Washington, and when I came home in 1979, and I was just kind of milling around LA, running around, acting a damn fool. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I was 20 years old, didn't know what I wanted to do. And my brother, I was rooming with my brother, and he dropped the final call on me. I just started reading it and got interested. And he said, "Well, if you're interested, I have a ticket where you can go see Minister Farrakhan."
Mm.
And Minister Farrakhan was going to be at the Bonaventure Hotel later on that month in December 1980.
Mm.
And I went and listened to him, and I haven't turned back since.
Okay, excellent. Yes, sir. Thank you. Brother Ronald, West, Sister Organic Pope, Walaikum Salam, ma'am. She says that you are OG. My next question for you is, why did you accept the teaching, sir?
Well, like I said, I was running around, didn't know what to do. Just being a damn fool, and like when I grew up, I grew up around a lot of older guys. I had two older brothers and their friends, and so I would always listen, and the things that made sense to me, I would always listen to that. So when I heard Minister Farrakhan, it just made perfect sense. You know, everything fell into place. Especially when I heard that the white man was the devil. I was like, oh yeah, man, this. It just made all the pieces fit. I always wondered why. They would always be on top. They got boats, they got this, they got mansions. And we living over here. I grew up in the projects in LA.
Yes, sir.
So, it was the difference between night and day. So when I heard the preaching, brother, it just made perfect sense to me.
Okay, praise be to Allah. Brother Mir says, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. My sister Naima and Mimi both send the greetings. Alaikum salam, family, and thank you all for watching. My next question is, how did your parents feel once you accepted the teaching, sir?
Well, I didn't really have a relationship like that with my dad where I talked to him about stuff like that. So I really don't know how he felt. But my mom was always, I could tell she was kind of reluctant, to accept it. But, she would always support me, whenever I come to her with an idea or tell her something I wanted to do, or if I wanted to go to college, or if I wanted to do this, she would always support me, So, like I said, I could tell she was kind of reluctant. I told her I joined the nation, but she was in full support.
Beautiful. My next question is, can you put us in the mindset of what it was like to be in Los Angeles, California, in 1980, walking into the mosque? Who were the laborers? Who trained you? Like, personally, who taught you how to do security and drill and the lessons?
Well, Brother Malik, I mean, not Brother Malik, excuse me. Brother Khalid was the minister.
Mm, mm, mm.
Those of you who know Brother Khalid know that he's a fiery, fiery minister.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He didn't cut no corners. You know, he was a straight shooter. You know, he told you the truth, whether you liked it or not. It was no sugar on it.
Yes,
There was
sir.
no honey. There was nothing to sweeten it up. You know, and you know, I like people like that. You
Yes,
know,
sir. Yes, sir.
and when Brother Khalid came off the rostrum, you know, I was ready to run through hell with a gasoline jacket on. You
Yes,
know,
sir. Yes, sir.
and just from the first lecture, he gave, brother, I was fired up. I was ready to go. Brother Malik uh, was the captain. He's you know, he's kind of down right now,
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
from my understanding, he should be back with us pretty soon.
Praise be to Allah.
Another fiery brother, you know, very influential, knew the teachings, you know, knew the Quran, and like I said, I was always drawn to people like that, you know, people of knowledge, people with uh, people of courage, you know, who said what they meant and meant what they said. So you know, I just fell right in, brother, fell right in, and been soldiering ever since.
Praise be to Allah. And I want to make sure that I thank you as well as your family for their sacrifice and hard work to help establish Islam in North America, sir. My next question for you is, how was it the first time you met the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Oh, brother, it was kind of surprising. You know, I, I had no idea that I was going to meet him that day. I had no idea he was even in the city.
Mm,
It was, you know, we had an White House, and Brother Khalid uh, came to the FOI house. He was looking for, you know, somebody to go with him, and so I was the only one there.
mm,
So,
mm,
so he said, "Brother, come on, let's go." So, you know, we locked up, and you know, he had this long limousine,
mm.
and he pitched me the keys and said, "Come on, brother, let's go to the airport." So we drove to the airport, and you know, once we parked, those were the days when you could park and you go into the terminal and go all the way to the gate.
Yes, sir.
You know, you can't do that now. A lot of people don't know about that. But
Yes, sir.
all the way to the gate, I'm sitting there behind the wheel. I'm sitting there like about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. All of a sudden, the door popped open. Khalid jumped in the front seat, said, "Let's go." I looked in the back seat. It was Minister
Mm,
Farrakhan.
mm. Praise be to Allah.
I
Yes,
had
sir.
only been, I had only been in the Navy about not even a year,
Mm.
just a few months, you know. And it was Minister Farrakhan, boy, that was a deep conversation. But you know, that was my first time meeting him.
Yes, sir. And I want to say, folks, Alaikum Salam, Sister Teresa, Pearl, and Alaikum Salam, Brother Michael, as well. Thank you all for watching. Can you explain now if the minister, wherever he moves, there's a whole entourage, there's an E team, an extended team, there's just so many people with him. How
Right.
was it being able to just be with the man of God with just you and one other person? How did that feel?
Oh, brother, that happened. Uh, uh, Maybe what happened to me, maybe about 3 or 4 times.
Mm, mm.
Because, you know, whenever he would come to the region, you know, it was our responsibility to take care of him. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
whenever he got off the plane, we were supposed to be there. You know, because at that time, 1980, 1981, if he went to, say, the state of Washington, in which he did, there's no FOI up there. You know, there's really not that many up there now.
Yes, sir.
But so you can imagine back in 1980, 1981, there was no FOI. So I think he spoke at a, I don't know the name of the venue, but we had to fly up to the state of Washington and meet him. And it was only like three of us. We had to pick up Sister Deja and Brother Akbar and a few other brothers, a few other ministers that flew in. We had to pick them up, take them to the hotel, go back, pick somebody else up, go back to the hotel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just us, and he spoke at the University of Anchorage in Anchorage, Alaska, and we had to fly up there for that one too. That was quite an experience, brother.
What made it quite an experience in Alaska? Was it the weather? How did the people receive him?
Yeah, it was the people received him. It was a great reception, brother. I mean, the venue was full, and you know, in Alaska, it was I think it was on the daylight side, because you know there's 6 months a day.
Yes, sir.
6 months.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it was on the daylight side, and you know, well, back then, in Alaska, you know, there's bears running around, there's moose. You know, you could be driving on the highway, or you know, a big old bear would run across the highway, you know, and it's like, whoa, what was that? We don't have those in South Central.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, so you know, it was quite an experience, but it was great, brother. It was great. You know, we held post for like 4.5 hours. You know, myself and my grandmaster, brother Steve. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Respect. Definitely. Yeah. Okay, and speaking of your grandmaster, one who I'm honored to be trained under in Atlanta, as well as many of the brothers who are on my drill team. We learned BKF and learned Kempo, and how to see when I saw you post a video the other day of doing the techniques and learning bone on bone and things of that nature. How was it to be trained by him? And did you ever have to implement his styles, like actually practice fighting using that technique in the streets?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Just knowing it, brother, I believe is what saved my life in more than a few occasions. You know, on that particular technique that I showed on the video, I've actually used that one in the streets. So yeah, it's and learning under him, brother, you know, it wasn't easy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's an ex-Marine, brother, you know.
Yes,
so
sir. Yes, sir.
He's tough as nails, brother.
Yes, sir.
And plus, he's got, especially here in Los Angeles, he's got maybe a couple of thousand black belts.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah.
We had to fight our way up the ranks, you know. And here in BKF in our family, you know, when there's a new crop coming up, we gotta go see what it's like. We gotta see what you got, man. Okay, well,
yes,
are you ready to wear this belt? We gotta see what you got.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's beautiful. So, and what belt and what rank do you hold in martial arts? I'm not familiar with the rank.
Well, right now, actually, I just last year or so, I just received my 10th degree.
Praise be to Allah.
10th degree, great grandmaster.
Wonderful. Thank you. And you said 10th degree. I want to make sure I get the proper terminology. 10th degree.
Great grandmaster.
Great grandmaster. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Praise be to Allah.
After your 8th degree, you in our system.
Yes,
after
sir.
your 8th degree, you're a grandmaster. 10th degree is great grandmaster.
Praise be to Allah. I love the style. It's very effective, and it is in fact helped me out of plenty of situations as well. My next, and thank you all for watching. Yes, thank you, Mimi, for saying awesome. Alaikum salam, bro. Daniel, alaikum salam, sir. My next question is, when you came in 1980, when did you go from seeing the Most High Mental Farrakhan as maybe a political activist or a speaker to someone who is divinely guided, where you felt that this is the man who you've been looking for? Like, when did that light go off in your head?
That's a really good question, brother. While you're soldiering, you taking your papers out, fishing, doing this, that, you don't think about stuff like that, Well,
Yes,
let me speak for myself,
yes, sir.
But we were here in LA. I guess maybe you heard, it's tough on the local ministry. This is a really tough place to play, brother. And we went through ministers, one after another, and so we got the unique experience of having Brother Jabril come in and out of the city, while our ministers got their stuff together, or either had the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan appoint one.
Yes, sir.
So Brother Jabril gave us a really, really great foundation, man, and gave us a really clear picture of who the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan actually was. It took a while. It took a while, but I would say right around maybe 84, 85, it really started to sink in that this man was who he said he was. And that Master Fard Muhammad actually had his hands on the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was guiding him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He would always say that there are two of them backing him up.
Yes, sir.
It took a little while, but I actually came to believe that the two of them were guiding him. The moves he was making, brother, the things he was having us doing, and we would go out and be successful. So all of the things that we've been through, here, especially here in Los Angeles, I can imagine that some of the other FOI have been through. We're all traveling the same road.
Yes, sir.
What we've been through here in Los Angeles, brother, we are divinely guided.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, and speaking of that, and thank you all for watching, Brother Captain David, who's in San Diego, says always that you've always been a humble and good brother. Praise be to Allah. Thank you all for people who give me the greetings as well as the guests. My next question is, you spoke of the ministers that came before you. You spoke of Dr. Khalid. How was it working with Minister Jabril? How was that working with him?
Anytime you're with Brother Jabril, you got to have your thinking cap on, brother.
Yes, sir.
You gotta have your thinking cap on, brother, because he would ask some questions that, brother, would just blow your mind, And if you're in the area where you're correct or somewhere near correct, he would say, keep studying, And if you're dead wrong, he'd say, brother, you're dead wrong. But he would say, listen, brother, this is what I want you to read. This is what I want you to study. He would give you something to guide you back, to where where you would know what you're supposed to know. He was an excellent teacher, excellent teacher, brother.
Praise be to Allah. My next question is, a lot of people don't speak Minister Ave because they weren't around during that time period. How was it working with Minister Ave?
Minister Ave, he was a psychologist, and he had a master's degree in psychology. He was very, very meticulous. He was a very meticulous brother. Everything had to be in place. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Yes, sir.
But a lot of us weren't ready for that. And here in LA, this is a special place, brother. This is a special place, you know.
Yes, sir.
When you're coming into a new place, you have to meet people where they are.
Yes, sir.
You know, you have to meet them where they are and then bring them where you want them to be. And I think that's where the clash was. You know, we were a rough bunch. We were a rough bunch, and you know, just coming in and you know, with a master's degree and this that, and the other. It was just a it was you know, I'm trying to say something without saying it. You know?
Yes, sir. Okay. My next question is, I'm a history student. That's my major in college, and I've seen a lot of documentaries, seen it through the lens of television shows, but of the Rodney King riots. This is almost like mandatory. This is a major deal in history of America, but especially Black history. How was it to be in Los Angeles at that time and to be an FOI at that time? What was it like?
Well, I'm gonna go back just before that happened.
Yes, sir.
Just before the Rodney King incident, LAPD was buck wild. They were buck wild, brother. I mean, they had these groups of cops that were like gangs. You know, one of them was Operation Street Safe, and this was paid by they were paid by City Hall. You know, these were just separate little groups. They had a group of sheriffs called the Viking. They had some little another little group called SOS. And they would go around robbing the dope dealers, you know, going in and call themselves busting up the gangs or dealing, you know, arresting the gangs, keeping the streets. They were just another gang themselves. They were kicking. They would go into projects and kicking in doors, and you know, make it a whole big thing. Have people's mamas and grandmamas laying on the front lawn, and they were buck wild.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when the Rodney King video came out, that was just that just ignited what everybody else was feeling all over the city. So it was a powder keg, and it was building and building and building. And when we saw a brother get beat like that, when he wasn't even really doing anything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Took to the street. But as an FOI, bro, you know, we had already made inroads to the projects and inroads to the gangs and you know, because a lot of us, not me, but a lot of us came from these gangs.
Yes, sir.
Yes, FOI.
Yes, sir.
You know, we came out of the gang, so we were already in the streets. So, you know, all we had to do was, you know, let people go ahead and do their thing, you know, and then we come in and mop up and sweep up.
Yes, sir.
We're doing it for a while, brother. You know.
Yes, sir.
You know what this is all about. You know, LAPD, they talking about coming in and killing us. You know, and that's exactly what they were doing. You know.
Okay, excellent. Yes, sir. So once the riots happen, and you see the Asian store owners on the roofs, and a man who got dragged out of the truck on one like the busiest street. I don't want to say like Crenshaw, like he's dragged out of the truck and beat up in front of everybody. Were the FOI? Was your job, sir?
That was Florence and
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. And were y'all active, like to be out there trying to stop it, or y'all to be like guard the minister? I mean, like stay at home and guard your family. Like what was it?
Oh, we weren't gonna stop nothing, brother. If brother wanted to chunk that Molotov cocktail into that Asian store, let him go ahead.
Yes, sir.
it was a situation where things were getting out of hand. This was before it really blew up. Things were getting out of hand, and they called our minister, brother, and said, "Hey, look, can you guys come and help us?" But they never wanted to. They never really wanted when the LAPD lost control of it, that's when they decided to call us. Hey, can you come and help us?
Mm-hmm.
And the minister called Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and said, what should we do? He said, Minister Farrakhan said, we didn't start it, so why should we let this thing go where it's going to go? And the minister called us back. Said, come on in, come on back. Just protect the mosque and protect the mosque property, and just let this thing go where it's going to go.
Allahu Akbar. Okay, beautiful. Yes, sir. And thank you for your transparency in this great history. Sister Teresa Pearl Muhammad, our family says, yes, LA is a special place. So my sister Mary says, great question. Thank you, Mrs. Mimi. Brother Captain David says, yes, sir, a special place. The minister would always give amnesty the West Coast. Thank you, Brother Ronald, for the street name, the correct street name. Brother Jabbar, 1 second. I have a quick commercial break for the sponsors of the podcast. I want to make sure that we give credit to Street Premiere. Make sure everyone if you have a video editing or doing TV shows or movies, he has my brother Rashad has a drone camera and they're shooting. They're working on some films this summer. They got some great stuff lined up. Reach out to Street Premiere if you need anybody to work on video editing. My sister Miriam has two books, a coloring book as well as a children's book called ABC. I Love Me. It is on Amazon. Make sure you all go out and get that. Also, 1 second. We had Brother David. Shout out to Brother David in Chicago for your sponsorship, brother. You always show love. I thank you. You didn't send it in on behalf of a business, but you sent it on behalf of yourself and in the brotherhood. So I respect that. Thank you, Brother David. Shout out to our anonymous. We have anonymous sponsors. Our anonymous West Coast sponsor. I love you, sister. Thank you for continuing to show love. You didn't want me to say your name, so I will not. Cleopatra, my second children's book. My second book, which is on Amazon as well. Cleopatra with a K. Make sure you all get that on Amazon. And my father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, Abdul Sharif Muhammad, and also Supreme Men's Fashion. It is in St. Louis, Missouri, and the card is not with me right now, but thank you, brother, for your sponsorship and always showing love. If you all have a business that you would like to sponsor, it's J Imagination on Cash App. I will promote your business on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube as well. Please like, share, and subscribe as we get this great history. Thank you very much, Brother Jabbar. My next question is, sir, speaking of the police and the LAPD, which you all are heroes to us, the FOI of your generation, period, but especially those who've had to encounter the community and have war stories, and as well as the Los Angeles Police Department. I can't imagine what it was like to face them. An incident that is known to some but not known to many happened with student minister Abdul Malik with the Los Angeles Police Department in fighting. All I remember is I saw it on the final call. I saw his face being swollen. And I just remember it was like a big thing, but this was like before like social media was like really popping like that. Could you explain to us what took place and how was it for you to be there holding posts in the situation where you're dealing with the LAPD?
Yes, sir. Well, on that particular incident, well, let me go back. There was, before that, there was, probably a string of shootings, in the Black community. And it was mostly us killing us. And every time that would happen, Brother Malik would go to the scene, and find out what happened. Because with a lot of these gang shootings, we don't know if it's another gang that's done it, because we don't investigate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Meaning we Black people, we don't investigate that. We just figured that the other gang did it because brother was a gang member.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Member of a street organization. So there was a string of them. mostly in that particular neighborhood that we went to, which, by the way, it happened on the same street that Nipsey Hussle lived on.
Mm, mm, mm.
So we went to the scene, and when we went, uh, uh, actually, the murder happened prior to that. We went to a candlelight vigil
Mm.
in honor of the brother that was killed.
Yes, sir.
It was still hot because it happened earlier that day. We went in the evening, so they had a candlelight vigil that evening, and when we got there, it was still hot. Police were still rolling around, and it was people out in the street, and it was you could tell the atmosphere was really, really thick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Malik, we went over, greeted the mother and the family, and said a prayer. And while we were standing there, we saw the police cars. They were no longer rolling around. They had stopped, and they had the front end of the street blocked off and the back end of the street blocked off. So, we noticed that. So we said, okay, let's disperse, to try to, keep things cool.
Yes, sir.
So we were leaving, and this one particular police car just rolled up and blocked the sidewalk. And when we rolled up, we had an entourage. It was maybe 4 or 5 cars. So we parked them. We kind of double parked. So the policeman rolled up and he said, "Look, you guys are going to have to move your car." I said, "Okay, we're leaving." He said, "No, you're going to move it right now." We said, "Okay, well, we're leaving." And he just stood there like, like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I guess we figured we wanted to, we were going to start something, but we didn't. So we just kind of stood there, and he's like, he started going back and forth. And Minister Malik just said, "Hey, look, man, could you just move out of the way and let us go?" So he's like, "Okay, well, you guys line up over here." So you like line up. You're your damn mind. You ain't come over here giving us no orders, nothing like that. So he pulled out his little pepper spray and got back in the defensive position like he was, getting ready to
Yes, sir.
get ready to do his thing. So we took a
Yes, sir.
So Brother Malik went up nose to nose with him, and some pushing started. So we went after them, and that cop ran around the car. We had to chase him. He started running. So the whole thing was a setup. Because they were waiting. So as soon as that started, they just came in from all sides, and the FOI was already there. So it was a melee, and of course we did our thing.
Allahu Akbar.
A few of us went to jail, but that ain't nothing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ain't like we ain't been to jail before.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So few things, but when they didn't do that to him until he gave himself up. He came out, gave himself up, and then that's when they decided. But they weren't going to do that with the FOI there.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And how did the community respond once they found out that the FOI were arrested?
Oh, brother, well, I was arrested, but
yes, sir.
when from what I heard, brother, there's a police station in South Central on 77th and Broadway called 77th Division. That's where they took us. And from what I hear, about 300 people were standing outside calling for the minister's release.
Allahu Akbar.
So the community responded. Some community leaders, politicians, they all came out. They all responded well.
Okay.
They didn't want another Rodney King thing on their hands, so they had to jump on top of it.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. And walaikum salam to you, Brother Gerald X. Austin. My next question is, because of the police, because of LA, you all have a different culture that you came up with, tough. The streets is fighting. Hollywood's just a different situation out there. Have you ever had death threats on you, or did you ever face fear? And if so, how did you overcome that?
You mean death threats like just anybody in the street?
No, like if you're on post and they're like, if y'all go here, this your minister could be attacked and and you're on post, or somebody saying to you, if because of who you are, no sir, you can't come out here no more.
Right. Nothing really like that.
Okay.
But not that I remember.
Yes, sir.
But brother, when we were rolling with Brother Khalid was a man's man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If somebody would threaten him, we'd go right to their door.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, you want to come on out here and fulfill that threat, or what you gonna do? And it's like when Minister Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came to the forum. It was a Jewish group that protested.
Mm.
They were chanting, "How do we want Farrakhan? We want him dead." That was the chant that they were doing. They were walking around the forum. Brother Khalid got wind of that, brother, and grabbed about 20, 25, 30 FOI. And once the FOI hit the parking lot, that little Jewish group, hightailing it down Manchester.
Yes, sir.
We didn't tolerate that, brother. We really didn't. If it was time to get down, we would line up, and close our eyes, ball up on fifth, and start swinging until it was over with.
Allahu Akbar. Okay, beautiful.
That happened quite often.
Yes, sir.
As far as the fear is concerned,
yes, sir.
I mean, it's only natural. It's only natural to, feel some nervousness or, have your heart beating a little faster than normal. That's only natural. But, as long as fear doesn't overtake you and cause you to turn heels, then a little fear is good. It'll help you to be cautious, and not force you into doing something foolish.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, sir. My next question is the Million Man March. What was the impact that it had on you, and what was it like coming from LA in that the climate of the Million Man March?
All right, I'm gonna be honest with you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was locked up during the Million Man March.
Okay, okay.
I was locked up, brother. I was out of pocket. I didn't even make it. They had tickets and flight arrangements and everything, but got locked up right before we were supposed to go. So I didn't even make it.
Oh man. And, yes, sir.
But I watched it from the day room and
yes, sir.
I watched it from the day room, while I was locked up. So, but the brothers in lockup with me, brother, we had our own little corner. It's like,
yes, sir.
It was amazing, man. It was amazing seeing all those brothers. But I didn't know.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. My next question is, what has been your greatest trial in your tenure in the Nation of Islam, and how have you overcome that?
Oh, my greatest trial, I would say, just consistency. Mm-hmm. Consistency, trying to stay in step with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, obeying all laws. Not to say that I did, but striving to be, keeping up prayer, family, marriage. I've been through a few marriages,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
a few marriages, and and I found that, and I find that if you just stay consistent, no matter what's going on around you, just stay consistent, be on that straight path. Allah always looks out for the believer. No matter, he'll send you through a few trials. He just want to know that you're going to hang on to that line and stay on that straight path. The minute you let go, that's when bad things happen.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Thank you. Thank you for your transparency, and thank you all for watching. My next question is, Brother Jabbar, what has been your greatest joy in your tenure in the Nation of Islam?
Oh man, no doubt, my children and my grandchildren. That's been the greatest, probably the greatest thing I've ever done.
That's beautiful. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen you in, around celebrities my whole life doing security, and could you give us some stories of some of your fondest memories of you working with celebrities doing security?
Well, the most notable is the 6 years I spent with Ice Cube.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he took me places, brother, that I never would have seen on my own. We've been all over Europe, Hawaii, Japan, the islands, and we always went first class, and like I said, I never would have seen most of those places, if I hadn't went with him, and we got into some things. we got into some things, as an FOI, I can't talk about a lot of it,
Yes, sir.
And as a friend of his, I can't. There's other things I can't talk about, but I definitely had to put my skills to work, and I even got into a few scrapes down there in Atlanta.
Oh dang! Now, Brother Jabbar, was this during the Ruthless record, like with the Easy E stuff going on, with the Suge Knight stuff, or is this like the later Ice Cube? Like, which time period is this?
This was when he first broke away from
NWA.
NWA.
Okay, yes, sir. So you definitely in it.
Hold on a second.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for watching as we get this great history from our brother Jabbar Muhammad. Yes, sir. So you were in it. So when we watched the movie Straight Outta Compton, and Ice Cube makes the reference, when Ice Cube makes the reference that.
Hold on, somebody was calling. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. It's all good. When Ice Cube makes the reference that when the reporter asked him who are those, referring to the FOI, and he said those are my brothers. You were one of those brothers who were with Ice Cube that he was referring to.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, sir.
There was 3 of us that was on the staff at that time. There was 2 brothers out of Compton, and myself.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, beautiful. And after it was over, anybody else after Ice Cube that you had a good time with?
Oh, brother, yeah. Well, right now I'm doing a little stuff with a few things with Juicy J.
Okay, yes, sir.
And from time to time, I go up and work at Puffy's estate. Yeah, so I've worked with Gary Gray.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did a few things with Wesley Snipes.
Yes, sir.
It's been a lot.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
Been around a little bit, I've been in security for about 25 years.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, wonderful. And I'm very happy that you've been able to, move the way you move and take care of yourself and your family. Speaking of family, sir, what advice would you give to future fathers?
Um, like I said before, you know, you don't really have to make a whole lot of money, but you have to be there. You
Mm,
know, you,
mm.
you have to be there for your children. You have to be there for your wife or uh, whoever it is you're taking care of. You have to be there, and just whatever you have, you build from there. You know, your line shouldn't be straight across. Your line should be on an upswing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You should be better next year than you are this year,
Praise
and
be to
so
Allah.
on, so forth, and so on and so forth.
Okay, great. What do you do for fun, sir?
Martial arts, working out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What can I say? That's fun to me.
Yes, sir.
Uh, I've always been an athlete, and that's always been my escape. Whether it's basketball or track or football. I got into once I came into the nation. Sport and play wasn't. It was kind of frowned upon. Even though we did, play a little ball every now and then, but not like I was. I used to get in the leagues and play,
Mm, mm.
you know,
Yes, sir.
yeah, and play competitively.
Mm.
But once we stopped, I got into martial arts, and then I picked up the culture of martial arts, and started doing that. And so now I teach. I don't fight competitively anymore. So now I just teach, and that's been my outlet.
Beautiful. Sister Naima says, yes, sir. Sister Organic Poet says, I agree. You have to be there. Sister Mina Crystal Muhammad says, agreed. Thank you all, and thank you all for continuing to watch. I have just a few more questions for you, Brother Jabbar. My next question is, what advice would you give to the future generations on how we should keep our faith in order to, sustain how our faith can sustain us in order for us to be like 10 toes down, meaning, not to go nowhere under the trials of life.
Right. Well, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, brother, coming from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, has given us all the tools that we need
Yes, sir.
to sustain our life, to sustain our faith, and keep our faith in Master Muhammad. So once we dig in and we learn all that we can learn, get into that Holy Quran. That's your direct link to
Yes, sir.
Master Farad Muhammad. If you get into something, whatever it is you get into, it could be just any type of mental turmoil. You know, go into that Quran, brother, and Allah will reveal to you. If you have that connection with Him, He will
Yes,
reveal
sir.
to you what the right answer is.
Yes, sir.
We have books, we got tapes, we got everything we need to sustain us. Don't forget about that.
Yes,
A
sir.
lot of us through our daily lives, we put this stuff on the shelf and it collects dust. But we can't let that happen. We have to constantly. Just recently, man, I just told myself I'm going to read Message to the Black Man cover to cover. I mean, I
Mm.
didn't accomplish it, but I sat down and read that night and read most of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Still things in there that I don't even remember reading this.
Yes, sir.
You know, yeah. And how to eat to live. We gotta get a hold of our diet, brother, and control this urge. This urge is gonna take us out of here if we don't get control of it. You know, we have to maintain this one body that we have. We only get one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We got to maintain it and live as long as we can.
Praise be to Allah. Wonderful, sir. And thank you for your transparency, and thank you all for continuing to watch the People's Podcast. My next question is, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Well, uh, when I really don't know. I really haven't given it a lot of thought. But if I'm to be remembered, when my name come up, I just want them to say he was a good brother.
Mm, mm.
That's all. I'd be satisfied with them.
Praise be to Allah. And my whole life I've seen you and admired you, like many of the young brothers who were coming up at the time. And you've always been on post, very serious. I mean, I never knew you smiled this much or had a sense of humor till just now, because you've always been very serious, this third West Coast brother. But I want to make sure that I thank your family on behalf of myself and my family, and make sure we thank you for your sacrifice. We cannot thank you enough, sir, for laying the foundation on which we are trying to build and stand upon today. May Allah continue to bless you to continue to be a great example of an FOI, sir.
Oh yes, sir. We appreciate that. And may I say, first time I saw you, brother, up there on that stage calling the cadence.
Yes, sir.
You know, I leaned over to Brother Malik and I pointed to you. I said, I like that little brother right there.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah.
You know, I hadn't even met you yet.
Yes, sir.
But,
Praise be to Allah.
thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And you know, this radio, I don't know if it's radio, but
Yes, sir.
the show, right? I don't, you know, I'm an old cat now. You know, I'm not into podcast and
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
taping, you know, that stuff, and I'm that stuff is behind me. But yeah, this is wonderful, brother. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for coming on, and thank once we put it on YouTube, that's when more people are going to see it, because right now it's on Facebook. But I just want to thank you, because we are going to, I believe personally, that when the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan ascends, that we were going to look back on these testimonies and be very inspired and empowered, just to be reminded of that everything is true and exact, and so these are going to be, this testimony right here is going to be powerful. So it's powerful, and it's going to be even more powerful very soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
And
And
one more thing. I'm putting together a series for exercises and martial arts. It's going to be on YouTube, probably on the YouTube channel. So just remind everybody to look out for that. I'll send you a reminder.
please.
When we put it all together. Put together, martial arts technique, restraint holds, chokes, weapons, how to defend against different weapons, gun takeaway, things like that. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that. I'll send it to you, brother, and have you look at it. You know, if you want to feature it on your show.
Oh, absolutely, we will. Absolutely, we will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And thank you, sir, because I am, a student of BKF. So I'm anything that you're doing, anything that my brother Cjo is doing, I'm always going to support it. Always going to show love to it, because I bear witness to the reality of what it can do in real fights. So yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And love you, brother Jabbar, and assalamu alaikum.
Love you, my brother. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Give my best to your family.
Yes, sir, I will. Thank you all for watching.